Hey, Sparkplug! Whoop whoop! Kate and Z, and we have our beautiful friend Precious here in the form of a robot. Whoop
whoop! Whoop whoop! Kate couldn't hear you with the music, so
it was quite loud in my ears as well. So
it was.
Sounded great though. That's my favorite.
Turn the background music down, you ding dong.
What?
Let's try again. I lowered the volume.
It's okay. We're keeping rolling. We're having fun.
I like the music.
There we go.
All right, savvy guys, over
here. This tomfoolery. We got business to talk about here.
We are talking about my Roman Empire of a series, The Ravenhood by the beautiful Kate Stewart, narrated by Joe Arden and the Queen Maxine. And my special edition of One Last Rainy Day hopefully will come soon. And if you guys haven't checked that out, you should, because it is absolutely beautiful.
And if you can't tell that we love these books, we've got We Love Rainy Days, Don't We, Baby? And What's That All About? Yeah.
So, Precious, I have an important question for you.
Yes.
What type of girly are you? Are you Team Sean, Team Dom, or Team Tobias?
I mean, I'll have to say Team Dom. All the way.
So Team Dom here.
Yes.
What about you, Z? I think you are too.
So I'm stopping the music for now, but we'll play it again. But I'm definitely Team Dom. Curious about Tobias.
Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, ladies. I would take all three at any point, but my favorite is Dom.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think these stories hit differently depending on what type of girly you are, though. So I feel like the Team Dom girlies get hit really hard in Exodus, and particularly with One Last Rainy Day. It does put you back together, but I cannot tell you the amount of hours that I sobbed listening to One Last Rainy Day. That whoosh whoosh. Like I can't go there.
So I read when I got through Exodus, I did a buddy listen, and I mean, I got a little teary-eyed, a little bit. Like I was like, okay. I mean, that's sad. I did not full-blown ugly cry, shaking in my bed, mascara running down onto my pillow until I read One Last Rainy Day.
Oh my God, you didn't cry during Exodus?
No.
What's wrong with you? I was
I'm
definitely
emotionally dead.
all of those videos you saw on TikTok.
Yeah,
girls were in the shower just crying, laying in the fucking driveway. I could have 1,000% done that.
Me too.
I have. Z is broken. Like
I don't cry often. I will tell you that. Like I am not a crier.
Yeah,
that book destroyed me.
No, I did not do the ugly crying. Yeah, until One Last Rainy Day. That's when it really hit me. And it's like, I already knew what was going to happen too. So I have no idea, but my feelings for One Last Rainy Day are just, it's fine. We're good.
It's fine. You're fine. It's fine.
I'm also not an emotional person and don't get that upset, but it was like for 3 days straight, I was not myself. And then my husband would have been like, what is going on? And I'm like, I don't know, but I read this book and it gutted my life. Like it's like this actually happened to me, to my friend, and I'm mourning. You know what I'm saying? So it hit me hard then, and then it hit me hard One Last Rainy Day as well.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So One Last Rainy Day definitely didn't hit me as hard as Exodus. And I don't know if it was because I was like mentally prepared for it to like fuck my shit up. So I kind of went into it with like, this is going to be 10 out of 10 awful. So I was like, yeah, let's take a road trip. I'm gonna listen to this book because I'm like, but no, I wasn't as upset as Exodus. But I do Joe and Drive often, which is a big no-no.
Yeah.
Yes. During
do
that
too,
time
but-
I was doing I was in MRI, and I actually have a picture that I've never posted, and it says, I put a caption on there with me pointing to the MRI machine and going like, don't MRI and Joe. Because I almost walked in there with my earbuds,
Oh no.
and that magnet would have just sucked those babies right out of my ear.
Right. And a few brain cells. What are those?
But yeah. I've only done one listen of this, and I am currently re-listening to the series. So I'm on Flock still. I haven't made it to chapter 25 yet. But now I'm learning there's other stuff in chapter 31.
Yes.
Does anybody know
I'm trying to
what
think.
all this hoo-ha is about?
So there's the new release has bonus content too.
Oh, gee whiz.
Yeah. So I am on a hunt this weekend to go and definitely tour all my local bookshops and see if I can find the book, because I just want to know what
we should
happened.
do?
What's this bonus content?
And Precious, if you're not busy this weekend, you should totally get on this. We should all videotape us going to the bookshops looking for this, like together this time or whatever.
Yes, yes.
Can I just
All
order-
right.
Can we just
Can I
talk
order
about
it?
the range that Maxine has though?
Oh,
For these,
yeah.
oh, she just brought Cecilia to life and was just fantastic and made her totally relatable. And there are definitely some parts that I was just like, oh, what are you doing? Get it together.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're not participating in this.
I think this series was my first Maxine listen.
Oh, it's such a
Yep,
good
mine
one
too.
to be the first.
Oh,
Yeah.
yours too, Precious?
Well, it was actually my first duet audiobook. Like, I've only listened to
Oh,
audiobooks
wow.
with like the one narrator. This was my first Joe Arden book, like ever.
Oh.
And and then Joe and
Oh.
Maxine, and I was like, spoiled me rotten. And so I'm like, what's out there like it? And so I just started eating up all the Joe and Maxine content there was. And here I am with you beautiful ladies talking about Flock.
I love that you're here with us, because they really do spoil us. Joe and Maxine.
Oh, totally. Yep.
I
They
have
bring
such a
something
hard
that's
time.
just unmatched to the table. Like them together is just chef's kiss, 10 out of 10. I don't even
Yes.
care what the book's about. If I know that they're narrating it, sold, adds to cart.
Add to cart, 100%. 100% agree
Yes,
with you.
I totally agree. I was really surprised with Maxine's range, like you were talking about. I was like, dang, this chick got some like emotions going on. I was like, how do I get some of that?
I think it's fake it until you make it in your case. You know, you just pretend to be a nice person today.
Smile big.
But not scary like that. No
Oh.
bueno.
Well, that's no fun.
And then, of course, you know, we could talk all day long about Joe's talent. The accents, the French accent is good. And if I had to be anybody else's girly, I didn't like Sean. I still don't like Sean.
Oh, I love me some Sean. Mm.
No, he is classic fuckboy. Nobody has time for that energy. It's the
Hey, Sean, I have
keep
time
a
for it.
secret. Get in my car. No. Fuck.
Hot
no.
AF. Hot as
Catch
you know
feelings
what.
for me, pup.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
a good line. I'll give you that. Like, oh, that's sweet. But then I
love
think
that
about like
line.
when he stomped on my cell phone, I would be like, really?
True.
First of all, it was a watch. Okay, it wasn't the cell
Whatever.
phone. It was
True.
a watch. I'd be like, you can stomp all over anything you want, baby.
No. I mean, I dig the hiking vibes and the we're not going to emotionally connect, but there were too many like, I'm not going to give you enough pieces of this story. You just have to blindly follow me into the abyss.
There were breadcrumbs.
No.
And she kept coming back for more.
And I mean, when he looks like he looks, probably true, but I don't know. I like the alpha holes from the first scene when he was like, get out of my party. It was
right.
Okay,
get out of here.
Bet. And that is the definition of a brat.
And at first, so when I was doing this buddy listen, she was asking me like if I was a Sean, Dom, or Tobias, and I hadn't read the series yet. I was like, well, we're only on chapter like 3, so I'm gonna go with Sean. And she was like, oh yeah, I forgot that you hadn't read the series yet. But it was so cute. Like I thought it was so funny that she was buddy listening with me and she had forgotten that I hadn't listened to it yet. But I love her for that because she was like the first person that reached out to me to read it with me.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I also would give almost anything to read this book for the first time again.
1000%.
Oh,
that's what I tell people to sell them on this book. I'm like, for me, there's only 1 or 2 series that I say after I'm done, like, I wish I could read it again for the first time. And this is one of those. Like, I wish I could read it again for the first time because it's so magical. Kate Stewart did a fantastic job with all the characters. And then the audiobook is just, it's amazing.
Her writing is really, really like, I love her writing. Even in Drive in Reverse, I loved those books as well.
Yeah, it's the character she writes. Like, it's a great story, but she makes you understand the characters. And then the way Joe voices all of them and the way Maxine, it just brings it to life. Like, actually, don't email people, but after I read it, I emailed Kate Stewart. I mean, I'm like, you don't know me. I'm brand new to all this, but you're an amazing writer and please continue. Literally, I was like, please continue because that was such a great just treat that I got.
Oh, that's awesome though.
Yeah. And she responded. That was really nice.
Oh,
I keep wanting these to be like a movie or a series.
Can you imagine?
But would they ruin it though? Sometimes I think it's better.
I know sometimes Hollywood not sometimes, maybe a lot of the time.
I know, that's not true. Twilight was awesome movies. Come on. Mm-hmm.
No, Spider Monkey. No.
Who are you both? How am I here? I need to leave. This is not my place. I don't know what to say.
The books were good. The movies, not so much.
Listen here, hot butt.
And I'll just be real. I don't think I could listen or even watch anybody. Joe is those voices for me.
Yes,
period.
I 1000% agree.
Like, nobody else is going to do those justice. Even if I were to pick this up and paper read it, it's their voices, Maxine and Joe's voices that are in my head. That's who's reading this book to me.
So what you're saying is Joe and Maxine have to become actors.
Yes.
And make this movie.
And be 3 different people in Joe's
case.
And well, more than that, because he plays Tyler too.
Editing, that is what editing and costumes and makeup are for.
All right. Lower production cost.
It'll be the 2-man show.
Yes.
Well,
I would support I mean, I don't
TV and movie.
I don't hate it, but I would watch it if it came out, but I would be like, oh.
I do feel like if they did become movies, we would all, anybody that's read these would become pretty judgmental about
critical. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do agree with that.
absolutely.
And all the
All
little
right, so
Easter eggs
what?
that you find when you reread the series. Like I know you haven't reread it more than once, but I think I've read the series or listened to the series 5 times now, and I
Yeah.
swear I find something new every time I listen to it.
That's the beauty of listening to these, because I think we just keep finding more and more in them, because sometimes when you're listening, you'd be like, wait, what'd they say? Or maybe you're doing something else and you kind of, it's like in one ear, out the other. So then when you do a re-listen, you're like, oh, hey.
Yeah.
I won't, when I listen, if I get to that point where I'm not comprehending, I just stop. Like I've got to hear every freaking word and understand what's happening. And so when like my kids talk to me, I'm like, gosh, freaking, I have to reverse, rewind it to go back 15 seconds. So I really do pay attention. So the first time I listened, I absorbed it, but I would say I've done it 3 times and I started my 4th. But I didn't get through it before this podcast. So I only got through the first book. But it was funny because I was at my pool and I was texting my friends what I was. Yeah, and they were like, "Well, what chapter are you on?" I was like, "I'm on 18." They're like, "Get to 25." I'm like, "Why? What's that going to do for me?" I'm like, "I'm out here by alone. I'm on a pool, on a float. Like, there's no 2 men out there. That's beautiful, gorgeous morning." So,
no gorgeous men in sight. Hotbot, you need to look closer.
Get your snorkel, get your goggles on, be on the lookout. Yeah. So what are some of your guys' favorite parts in these books? Like, do you have one scene that just absolutely...
God, there's
so many
good scenes.
Yeah.
The car scene when he's talking, the eggs black or eggs runny, coffee black. Like that scene stands out to me. I love that quote. The apple market when Sean and his dams.
Yeah.
But what really was just so sweet, I don't even know if I could talk about it with not crying. I'm not going to cry. But in One Last Rainy Day, when they kind of tie it all together and you get his perspective and like, I'm going to cry. They did him so fucking dirty. I loved Dom.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't even listen to some of that audio without crying. Like it's like truly losing somebody, which is crazy because I can't think of any other book that is like, there are other books that have made me emotional, but not after so much time has passed to still be like, oh,
yes,
fuck, I'm going to cry.
Yes. These absolutely, people that I've introduced to these books and everything and audiobooks, and they would watch me just be like, what is wrong with you? I was like, and it'd be like 2 weeks later, and they're like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I'm gonna go cry now. Like it just sat with me so much. And I never had a book do that before.
And like instantly, the scene that comes to mind for just the raw fucking intensity is when Dom dies. And you can hear it in Cecilia's voice and even Tobias. And it's just like, it's coming and you're like, fuck, no, get up. Yeah. Like I remember being like, get up. No, you're fine. Get up.
I literally didn't believe it. Like, I read it and I'm like, where's like Mission Impossible? Like, where's the scenario where he's coming back? Like, I did not believe it. And then I had to. And I said, this is what, and then I was like, why, Kate Stewart? Why would you rip my heart out? Like, what is your point of this? Because it sucks and I don't like feeling this way. And if I would have known, I'm not sure I would have, you know what I'm saying? But
I totally would have still
broke
read
my
it.
heart. Broke my heart.
just the connection that you had from One Last Rainy Day, from his perspective, that he knew that tossing the gun was more than likely going to get him killed. And he still did it for her, like the ultimate sacrifice. But in my head, I'm like, I'm so fucking mad at you for that. Fuck her feelings. She'll get over it.
Right. She's a big girl.
She's got big girl panties. Trust me, she'll be fine.
Pull those panties up, girl.
Just
yeah,
just such
there
an
is a line
emotionally-
in One Last Rainy Day that absolutely every time, and I have been listening to this nonstop because I've been making clips for our socials, and to have to keep re-listening, I'm like,
reliving the trauma. It's almost like the song, even though I think I will never hear that song and not think of the Ravenhood, the one that we've played a couple of times, but that song even gets me fucking emotional because like I can picture all the different clips from some TikTok users that have made videos, and we used it for a video, and I'm like, no, don't do it.
You know, that TikTok clip of that song where Joe Arden did those three, he voiced Tobias and Dom and Sean. That's the only reason that I read Flock and the Ravenhood series. And that's the only reason I started eating up Joe Arden's book, was that stinking TikTok. And so, and I've come a long way. Like, I've met people through this. I've, bonded with people. I'm in kind of like an online book club. And it's all because of that damn TikTok and him voicing those three. And I'm like, what is this? This sounds great. What is happening? Why is everyone sharing this? So, I mean, like, the simple fact that probably got so many readers on the series. It's just, good job.
Sure.
Good job, Joe Arden. Great job.
Yep, I know. Bravo, Joe. Seriously.
Huge.
Because that's how I found Joe, was on TikTok.
Mm-hmm. Same. I don't think I knew that.
Right. So yeah, because I was still in the romantasy stuff, and so I had just finished the From Blood and Ash series. And I was I was like, oh, and I saw somebody at work, and I was like, what are you reading? And it started this whole conversation, and then we started talking about dark romance, and I was like, what is dark romance? And so I went, I was like, what? And so I looked it up, and of course that Sick Love was my introduction to Joe and dark romance, or whatever.
That's a dark one there. That's a dark one you got there. That's a good introduction.
Jumped off the ledge.
But that one was
no
really
baby steps.
like, it didn't make me cry like these babies right here. Right. But it was a great
book. And his performance
emotion.
10 out of 10. But it didn't make me cry. It's a totally different experience. And like Jesse Hall is fantastic. Kid is a great book too, but they do not make me cry the way that Kate Stewart likes to fucking rip your heart out.
Yes.
Rip your heart
These
out.
books ripped my heart out, stomped on it, threw it on the street.
Reversed for good measure.
Reversed. Drove back over it.
But I will say, I know some people didn't want to read, One Last Rainy Day because of the heartbreak that they had. Yep. And I will say this, right there with you, but I'm so glad I read that book. Like, it really gave Dom a totally different dimension. And it was still sad because you knew it was going to happen, but I was so happy I read it. Like, good job, Kate Stewart, for making us read this. Like, she even said at one point, like, you've got it in your hands, ladies. Now it's time to read it. And everyone's like, I don't want to read it. But like, I'm so glad I did it because it really finished it.
It took me 8 months to read that book.
Oh, really?
Yes, because I was that fucked up over the series. Like, and like, I was a diehard Dom girl. Like, even though she ended with Tobias, and I understand why, and I can see their connection, and like, I get it, right? It was always going to be Tobias. It was never going to be Dom. But I I couldn't let it go. And so I knew that book was going to be just devastating for me. It took me 8 months, but I will tell you, I agree with you, Precious, that I am so glad that not only that I read it, but that I listened to it. And I've only listened to that one twice because it's a little more emotional for me, like just to relive some of those scenes. But you got so many wonderful insights into Dom and Cecilia's relationship and the flirtatious and it just gave him, I don't know, you really do miss something if you don't have that book.
And that's there are people that won't read it, and I keep trying to be like, why haven't you read it yet? Like, I right after the finish line, I started One Last Rainy Day. Like, I was like, we're going in. I was like, I'm already in these feels. We're just gonna continue this.
Diving in. No. So then I have another question since we're talking about Kate Stewart. And it's a very freaking valid question. And I am in the minority on this one. Who's Team Nate?
Not
From
me.
The Drive?
Negative.
Oh,
Negative. Nope.
Team who?
Nate. Nate. Stella and Nate.
No.
I thought we were still talking about this.
No, man. I got all attached. I cried in that book too. I was like,
No,
what?
I did too. No, babe, I am Team Nate. I am with you.
And I like Easton and I love Easton and Natalie's story. So I get it. Like it couldn't have happened, but
I do love
she
it.
did Nate dirty.
Yes, I felt so bad for Nate. I was like, dang boy, I'll come give you some love.
Right. I'll be Stella.
Right. I know I'm the same.
I
But
was like, hell to the
a
no.
very unpopular opinion.
It's a highly I am very in the minority on that one. No.
I
Same
would
girl.
say that is correct. Yes, that is correct. You are in the minority.
So why are you a diehard Reed fan?
I don't know. He just spoke to me more than Nate. Nate was kind of like, he was passionate, but not as passionate. And, it was like true love from the beginning with those two, like 1,000%.
He left her ass and was like,
He was
packed his shit,
broken. Listen,
looked her,
he
and
was-
then said bye on the way out the door. Fuck
He was
you.
broken.
No way.
he was broken and needed to fix himself. And that's
Broken.
okay.
I'll show you broken.
I can't. I bet you would, actually.
I'm still triggered. Sorry. I got a very emotional response to that. Reed pissed me the fuck off.
He's hot.
And now we have to do.
It doesn't matter. I didn't say anything about how hot he was. Talking about his soul here, Precious. And he was a
Does that
shitty
matter?
person. I
Does that
stand by
matter?
it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Nope. I was Nate. That's
Yeah.
my 2 cents. I'll let you go back to your.
Interesting.
Reed. We'll keep Nate.
Right.
What a gem.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Now I'm gonna. About back to the Ravenhood trilogy. I cry on that one. And it is by Imagine Dragons. And it's called Wrecked. And it is part of like the playlist, I think, or whatever. But I cry on that one every single time I hear it. And I think of Dawn and my heart pieces just.
This song makes me cry. I already told you that though. Just if I think about it. Especially if I think about that clip that Precious was talking about earlier. And Joe, there was just so much emotion in that fucking clip.
Oh yeah, it's all those emotions, like it's all those books, all in that little clip right there.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And she did ruin our fucking life.
In the most spectacular.
And put it back together and brought me some amazing fucking friends. Because
Look,
without the
maybe
series,
you were put back together, but I think I'm still missing some pieces.
I mean, a part of me will always be searching for Dom because, like,
Yep. Absolutely.
that's the boyfriend ever, by the way. And I know, like, that probably says
Avatar. Okay.
numbers about me.
Well,
Because
the picture ready, but let me
he's got a lot of red flags.
What
But
are
he
red
was.
flags?
What are red flags? We pass them out like candy.
I see none.
No.
All right. Well, it was a lot of fun.
Thank you for inviting me, ladies. You guys are so fun.
Yeah.
You're
Thanks
all
for joining us.
You're welcome.
Yes. And thank you for listening. And if you haven't read these books, check them out.
And you can get these really cute laser page ones too.
Well, see, you got all kind of cool ones. I got lame Amazon. Nothing.
Yeah, but now I have to go and get the
Although I
series
did get that
again.
special order one of this one.
I did order the special order of that one to go with this, and then I will do the new series because I love the new purple color cover for Flock. And I want the bonus chapter, and that's the only way you can freaking get it.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, I would highly recommend the audiobooks
Thanks,
as well.
Hotbot, for showing your beautiful face.
Thank you, Hotbot, for joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
All right. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye, Spark Plugs.